What a wonderful day to be giving a spiritual meditation. In fact, what a wonderful week. Today is the feast of the Immaculate Conception when Mary was conceived in the womb of her mother, St. Anne. Then tomorrow we have the feast of St. Juan Diego, who Mary appeared to share her motherly love with the world. On the 10th of December, we have the feast of Our Lady of Loreto, focusing on the home where the Annunciation happened, where Mary became a biological mother and the Word was first made flesh as a tiny single-celled human being. And then on the 12th, we have the great feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, patroness of the unborn. So an incredible week for motherhood, which is what I want to focus on. I feel it's very appropriate that we have just prayed the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary today. It's a reminder that our Blessed Mother understands the challenges that come with motherhood. Whilst it's good that the Rosary starts with joy, as that should always be our first response to life, but in the reality of this fallen world, we acknowledge and she acknowledges the struggles, the challenges, the sorrows, the pain, and the grief that can also be part of motherhood. Why is this focus on motherhood so important for us right now? We have such a dearth of motherhood in today's society. We see God blessing so many women with the gift of children. And yes, I know it might not always feel like a gift when you're pregnant, but we know that every child is a blessing in themselves and for the family. Yet this gift is being rejected on a catastrophic scale, which far exceeds the human sacrifices offered to the gods of the Aztecs in the time when Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared in Mexico. The truth is, though, that those who try to reject motherhood through abortion are still mothers. Motherhood is a gift that goes beyond the grave and is never retracted. And for those women struggling to accept their part in an abortion, it's key that while repenting of the serious wrong of abortion, that they also embrace the truth that their child or children still exist and that they themselves are mothers for all eternity. What does it mean, though, to be a mother if our child or our children are no longer with us physically here on earth, whether that's due to abortion or from any other tragedy, natural or otherwise? This brings us to a bigger issue. When addressing the dearth of motherhood, I think we need to look further even than those rejecting motherhood through contraception or those trying to reject biological motherhood through abortion, and look at what spiritual motherhood is, which is something I think we fail to meditate on enough or to teach our daughters. The rejection of or the failure to understand what spiritual motherhood is, this is what's at the heart of abortion and the struggle to recover from it. I believe that transition from girlhood to womanhood is really when that individual begins to embrace and live out what spiritual motherhood is. And this is the task given to every woman. I've sometimes met other women in a similar position to myself, ones who've never had biological children. When I was growing up, I wanted to marry and have at least 8 children. Now, when I've shared this with friends, they've sometimes opened up and told me of their own desires for biological children, which haven't come to fruition, either because they've never met someone to marry, because their marriage broke down quickly, or because they couldn't conceive. They then explain their sadness or frustration at not having their desire fulfilled. Now, I truly understand this, but it saddens me when women tell me things like, I always wanted to be a mother, or I wish I could be a mother. The desire for motherhood is put on your heart for a reason, and it's not to frustrate you. This is your calling, the calling of every woman everywhere, irrespective of whether you conceive or birth a child. And it's a calling that you can live out now. So how do we embrace spiritual motherhood? What are the qualities we females need to develop? I've got 4 suggestions. Firstly, the ability to nurture others, encouraging and fostering good in people, while being gentle but firm in helping to tease out destructive traits. Selfless love, building emotional strength in ourselves so that our heart is big enough to love through adversity. Fostering a desire for unity. Being the heart of a family is important for unity, but having a mother's heart is needed for unity in wider society too. And having a tender and gentle heart so that we're able to care particularly for those who are weak, sick, vulnerable, or lost, and to intercede for them. These qualities are all exemplified by Our Lady, a woman who was a spiritual mother before she ever became a biological one. Why do so many women fail to embrace biological motherhood? Because they haven't embraced spiritual motherhood. Many haven't been taught it, haven't witnessed it in others, and maybe, even more crucially, they haven't encountered spiritual fatherhood. I'm aware I've been talking about motherhood, but motherhood and fatherhood work in tandem. A priest said to me recently, when I encounter women who really embody motherhood, it helps me, it enables me, and teaches me how to be a better spiritual father. And I can definitely say the same from a female perspective. When I meet men who are real spiritual fathers, morally courageous, self-disciplined, men that can be relied on because they're responsible and dependable, men willing to face hardship, ridicule, or embarrassment in order to protect, defend, and provide for others. Ultimately, men who I feel safe with because I know they want to help lead me closer to God. These men help me to be a spiritual mother. Unsurprisingly, the two go hand in hand. So addressing women again, what one bit of practical advice would I give? Something very simple, and it's something I found really helpful for myself. Find an image of Our Lady. Now, I was given recently a huge, beautiful image of Our Lady of Guadalupe in this golden frame. It was one that a friary was getting rid of, so I like to use that. But the smallest statue, even a miraculous medal hung up on a nail will do. And when you're sat or knelt at the foot of this image, just say in your heart, teach me to be a mother. And in silence, be open and receptive to whatever our Heavenly Mother wants to share. And for men, something very similar. Being with the perfect mother will help you become a more perfect spiritual father. So again, sit or kneel quietly at the foot of your Heavenly Mother, and in your heart say, teach me to be a father. And in the beauty of that silent space, she will. So as we continue to meditate on these sorrowful mysteries, let's thank Our Lady for being such a perfect mother, and try to delve deeper into the mystery of motherhood, which she embodied so perfectly. This side of eternity, both motherhood and fatherhood will be difficult and painful, but it will also be rewarding and fulfilling, as it's about becoming who we were created to be.